Why not try to...
Do you guys realize that most lynchings of black people in this country started with a lie? A lie told about a black person or the entire black community that led to mobs of white people going into black communities and kidnapping, torturing, and killing black people. In some cases, burning down an entire black community. After Charlie Kirk was killed, I posted a video pointing out all the lies that he has told about black people. I said, this is racism. A lot of people had a problem with it because they've put Charlie Kirk on this Christian pedestal and they just can't imagine him being responsible for some of the things I was saying he was responsible for.
Black people are only 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders. Why?
First of all, that's a blatant lie and Charlie Kirk knew this. Black people account for 13% of the population and 51% of the arrests for murders. We also account for 60% of the exonerations of those arrests, so that points more to black people being falsely accused rather than black people are committing all these numbers of murders that Charlie Kirk is trying to attribute to the black community. But it gets worse.
Because black people tend to be in lower economic statuses because of
Okay, no, this
CRT,
is fine. This is great.
Basically.
So you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies on
this is where we
that.
disagree. What an insult to the working poor of this
why do you
country.
think-
Although this young lady was asking all the right questions, she really didn't have the rebuttals to all his talking points. Research consistently shows that poverty is the strongest predictor of crime. Like nothing else even gets close to it.
I think black people commit more
Well,
crime.
first
Charlie
of all,
Kirk.
so let me ask you a question as
No,
my
answer it. Go on.
What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raised?
I'm not sure.
20%.
So that's why you
80% of
think it
blacks
is.
do not have a stable father around.
That is absolutely not true. And Charlie Kirk knew this. Studies show that 49% of black kids do not have a father living in their home. But that does not mean their father is not in their life. Charlie Kirk knew this when he said it, but he told that blatant lie anyway. And then he takes that lie and makes this next statement based off of that lie, which to me is one of the most damaging things you could ever say about the black community.
It is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a murderer or a criminal.
And why
It's
do
not a
you think that's
racism
a problem?
It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that they have
why-
impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community, and it
so
shouldn't
it's
be.
culture.
It's cultural. It's accepted in the black community for men to impregnate women and basically run away from their responsibilities. He said that. And again, he said that based on the lie that 80% of black kids are growing up without a father. You can, on one hand, say that Charlie Kirk was this amazingly intelligent person, and then on the other hand, say that he didn't know exactly what he was doing when he made up those statistics and told those lies. Those were racist statements. You can twist yourself into any pretzel you want to try to make those statements okay, but they're not, and they're blatant lies, and they're racist. So first I posted that on my Coach D Speaks page, and then I decided, you know what? I'm going to post that on my regular Facebook and on my regular Instagram, because people who know me, people who grew up in the community that I grew up in, people who I know think that Charlie Kirk is this good Christian, needed to see his words in his context and have a black person explain what those words meant to them. Some people had an issue with it. There were people who wanted to excuse and ignore his racism, and they just had a hard time facing the fact that he had said those words, and they had to hear a black person who they know is intelligent enough to understand context explain it to them. So I had to explain this to a few people, and there were some people who I would say our friendship didn't last past this. And I have no problem with that. I'm not going to be friends with people who are going to try to excuse or ignore racism. Fast forward to today, or this present time. Recently, Mark Sanchez, who is a former NFL quarterback who is now a broadcaster, was stabbed in downtown Indianapolis. This radio broadcaster named Dan Dakich, who was also a former college basketball coach, he coached a lot of black African-American men. He posted that Mark Sanchez being stabbed in downtown Indianapolis doesn't surprise him because there are a lot of fatherless African Americans running around downtown Indianapolis. Turns out, Mark Sanchez was stabbed by a 69-year-old white man that he attacked. Mark Sanchez was the one who was arrested when all the information about this came out. So I posted that and I said, this is what happens when people make up statistics about the black community and then allow those statistics to become talking points, lies, and narratives and spread that around. Imagine if a bunch of white men with guns decided, you know what? We're going to go into downtown Indianapolis and we're going to make some trouble for all the black people running around there. Again, this is how lynchings of black people started in most cases in America. It started with a lie. Dan Dakich told a lie. People could have reacted to that lie. It turns out a white man killed Mark Sanchez. This had nothing to do with these make-believe fatherless African-American kids running around downtown Indianapolis. Nothing to do with that. But without having any information, he went online and he posted that shit anyway. When people went to his page and said, yo, you should take this down. This was a mistake. This was a lie that you shouldn't be spreading. He doubled down on it. Has not taken it down. As of today, over 4 million people have now seen that post. Millions of people have liked and shared that post. I had someone come to my comments and say, most people disagree with people who post things like that. They don't. You're trying to water down the racism in this post. I had someone else who said, I didn't even see that, trying to insinuate that it's not growing as much as I was trying to say it is. Over 4 million people have already seen it. He has not taken it down, and he double downs on it every single time. When people tell lies about the black community like this, it can cause harm to black people. This is why it is so important to always call out racism. This is why I don't want to be friends with people. I don't want to know you. I don't want to associate with you if you don't speak out against racism like this. This causes harm to people like me. There may be someone who decides to take action against someone like me because they read some bullshit about black people attacking white people in Indianapolis or some other place. I don't want to know people who think that's okay. I have absolutely no respect for them at all. I don't care if we've been friends for 25 years. When I find out you are someone who excuses racism, who ignores racism, I don't want to fucking know you at all. I've had people who've had issues with that. Yo, we've been friends for this many years. I don't care. You're okay with racism. I don't care if you think he was a good Christian. Good Christians don't make up shit about black people at all. They don't do that. And if they think they were wrong, or if they are told you were wrong about that, they would typically apologize, take it down, and then try to reconcile with that. Charlie Kirk never did that. Dan Dakich is not doing that. Those are racist, and if you side with those people, or if you empathize with those people, I don't want to know you. That's where I am in life. And everyone should be that way. Everyone should be that way because, again, this causes harm to people. Lynchings in America of black people started with lies like this. This is why we say you need to be an anti-racist. This is why we say it's not just okay to just say, I'm not racist, but never speak out against it. This is why it's important to be anti-racist, because this type of shit causes harm to people. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in they heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.